so this is going to be home for the night. We've got a fallen silver birch tree here. It's quite thick. I've had a kind of a good jump all over it, and it's sound. You know, it's not rotten at all, so it's not likely to collapse. The other end of it is jammed into a tree up here. And before all kind of YouTube police jump all over me and say, you know, this is terrible, and if it collapses during the night and you'll get squashed and all that kind of business, I'll be fine. You know, it's jammed at this end, really tight into a tree. I've, you know, tried knocking 7 bells out of it. It's going nowhere. It sounds perfectly sound inside. It's not rotten at all. So that's going to be the kind of main sort of frame for the shelter. And then over here, I'm actually going to put a tarp over the top. And then I'll put a fire in front, and I'll actually sleep kind of in length with the fire. And then at the front of the fire here, I'm going to make a fire reflector. But rather than the kind of standard way of doing it where you just pile up loads of logs, there's probably conservatively looking around somewhere maybe 80 to 100 easily hazel crowns here. So the plan is we're going to actually weave a hazel fence because this is going to be a semi-permanent winter camp hopefully, and maybe into spring next year as well. So we're actually going to drive some stakes into the ground and then weave hazel withies and hazel rods into that to form a fire reflector. And I said it won't damage trees in any way, shape or form. It's actually good for hazel. If you cut it, more grows. And you know, do a bit of research on coppicing of hazel. It's been going on for hundreds of years, and so far from harming the tree, we'll actually be doing it a favour. So okay, let's get to making camp. There's something quite magical about when you get your tarp out for the first time and you haven't used it for ages, and you get that smell of the campfire. It's fantastic. Okay, so I've got the tarp set up over the tree now. All I need to do is just pin the guy ropes down, and what I've done is I'm going to make some tent pegs just out of some hazel. And again, I think probably part of bushcraft is really about, you know, the more you can make, the more skills you bring in, the less physical things you have to bring into the woods and the less you have to carry. There's that old adage, isn't there, you know, the more you know, the less you have to carry. So, but here's what I've done on this end, is I've just chamfered this off to a dull point. If I'd have just left it with a clean cut from the saw, when you hit it with the back of an axe to drive it into the ground, this head will just split open, all the fibres will all break open. And it's a quick tip that if you actually chamfer this end, when you hit it with the back of an axe or a hammer or a log beetle or whatever you want to do, that won't split open. Okay, so now I'll just fashion the rest of it and we'll get it put into the ground. Okay, so that's the bed all set up. Now it's just a case of making the fire reflector and we're good to go for the night. See you in a minute. Okay, so all set up for the night. Just show a bit around camp. That's wood pile there, all separated into sections. And there's some bigger logs there. And obviously the sleeping arrangements. And then finally finished is the fire reflector there. That's interwoven hazel staves. Okay, so here's another view of camp. So that's the sleeping arrangements there. Got the tarp set up over the top of that fallen tree. And as I said, you know, before the YouTube police jump all over me, that tree is well embedded. Let's move it out of the way. It's well embedded up there. There's no way that's going to fall out and squash me during the night. Let's bring it back down. And there's the fire reflector there. So now all that remains to be done is get some tea on. Morning folks, well it's 10 past 8 in the morning now. It wasn't a bad night's sleep actually, it was fairly warm. The Hazel wall, the Hazel fire reflector worked really well. I had quite a nice sort of pocket of sort of warmth in here, so by the time we got finished off last night it got too dark to do any filming, so but you can rest assured it was the best steak and potatoes I've ever had in my life last night on the campfire. So right, we're going to get the fire going again this morning and get some breakfast on the go. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so that's it, another video finished. Sorry it's been quite a long time since I've had one on, but as I said earlier, I've had lots of things going on. So all that's to say I suppose is goodbye, but I actually want to say a big thank you to a fella called Mo, who I've been talking to quite a lot on Facebook, and I've had quite a lot of doubts about the videos I've been doing, and Mo's been really, really supportive. So Mo, big thumbs up pal. Hopefully we'll get you up here next year. We've got the basics of a good semi-permanent camp now, so you and your missus are welcome up anytime, pal. Alright, well thanks a lot for joining me again. Sorry if I've rambled on a good bit, but that's my first video in a while. I'll get back up to it, I'm pretty certain. Alright, take care for now, goodbye.